Welcome back to the channel Rare Coins History, Treasure Hunters, Coin Lovers, and Everyday Dreamers. You're about to enter a world where the ordinary becomes extraordinary, where the smallest coins hide the biggest secrets, and where pocket change can turn into jaw-dropping fortune. Today, we're not talking about gold or silver. We're not talking about ancient Roman coins or buried pirate treasure. No, today, we're diving into something much more familiar, something you may have used to buy candy, pay a toll, or toss into a wishing fountain without thinking twice. That I'm talking about the 1990 Jefferson nickel, the humble 5-cent piece, quietly minted across the United States and passed through millions of hands. But as you're about to find out, not all nickels are created equal. You see, tucked within the piles of everyday change, there are hidden gems, coins with a twist, a flaw, or a remarkable condition that sets them apart. One of those coins? A 1990 Jefferson nickel with a mint mark that's turning heads in the numismatic world. And yes, one of these coins recently sold for a mind-blowing sum that you will not believe. But don't skip ahead, because to truly understand the value of this nickel, we have to understand the story behind it. Let's rewind the clock back to 1990. America was at the cusp of a new decade. The Cold War was finally winding down, the Berlin Wall had recently fallen, and the world was changing rapidly. New technology was on the rise. The internet was a mysterious buzzword. Gas was around $1 a gallon. And tucked inside cash registers, coat pockets, and piggy banks across the country, were millions of freshly minted Jefferson nickels. Now, most people didn't give a second thought to these coins. After all, nickels were ordinary. They weren't flashy. They weren't rare. But that's exactly what makes this story so fascinating, because in the world of coin collecting, ordinary is never the whole story. Let's talk design first. The Jefferson nickel has been a staple of American currency since 1938, replacing the Buffalo nickel. On the obverse side is the strong, solemn profile of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and author of the Declaration of Independence. It's a timeless design, created by artist Felix Schlag, and has stood the test of time for generations. Flip it over, and you'll find Monticello, Jefferson's stately Virginia home. It's a clean, elegant image, paired with the words, E pluribus unum, United States of America, and of course, 5 cents. Simple? Maybe. But simple can be powerful. And in 1990, the U.S. Mint produced these nickels with all the precision and pride you'd expect. But as every seasoned collector knows, even the most careful minting processes aren't perfect, and that's where things get interesting. So where were these nickels made? The U.S. Mint has a few key locations. Look closely just to the right of Jefferson's portrait and you might see a tiny letter, a mint mark. If you see a D, the coin was struck in Denver. An S means San Francisco. And a P? That's Philadelphia. Each mint struck millions of nickels in 1990, but not all survived equally. And not all were struck perfectly. Now here's the secret most people don't know. Within those millions of nickels, there are rare ones. Some are valuable because of condition. Some because of error. And some because of a perfect storm of both. Let's break that down. First, condition matters more than you think. Most 1990 nickels are scratched, scuffed, and dull. That's life as a coin. They get tossed around, dropped on concrete, rubbed against keys and other change. But every now and then, someone holds on to one. Uncirculated. Untouched. Preserved in brilliant mint state, these coins gleam with a natural luster. Every detail of Jefferson's face is crisp. The windows on Monticello are sharp. The lettering pops. And collectors? They pay attention. Coins are graded on a scale of 1 to 70. A grade of 60 means uncirculated. But a 67 or 68? Now you're entering elite territory. Only a tiny fraction of coins ever reach this level. Now add in error coins, the crown jewels of coin collecting. Some 1990 nickels were struck with misaligned dies, resulting in off-center designs. Others show doubling, where letters or numbers appear to have a faint shadow, often due to a worn or loose die. Some were even struck on the wrong type of metal, creating strange colorations or weights. These aren't flaws, they're rarities. And the coin community lives for them. Now let's take it even further. Imagine finding a 1990 Jefferson nickel with a mint mark, perfectly preserved, graded at MS 67 or higher, and featuring a rare die error, maybe a double die, or a planchet anomaly. You wouldn't be looking at a coin worth 5 cents anymore. You'd be looking at a numismatic treasure, and that brings us to the story that's electrifying collectors. Picture this: a coin collector in the Midwest, sorting through an old inherited set of coins. Dozens of nickels, most of them dull or average. But then, one stands out. A 1990 Jefferson nickel. A mint mark beneath the date. Perfect shine. Flawless detail. Something different. They send it in for grading. Experts examine it carefully. They detect a unique doubling on the date and lettering. The surfaces are pristine. The die alignment? Unusual. The grade? Off the charts. It goes to auction. Bidding starts modestly. But as word spreads, the price climbs. Coin dealers from across the country throw in their offers. Phones ring. Emails flood in, and then, finally, after all the buzz, after all the speculation and anticipation, the auctioneer slams the gavel down. The winning bid, $85,800. That's right. A 5-cent coin. A coin that most people never even glance at twice. Sold for more than most new cars. A coin that might still be out there, in a drawer, a box, a forgotten coin jar. Let that sink in. So what does this mean for you? It means you should check your change. It means that old nickel you tossed aside last year deserves a second look. Because the next great discovery in the coin world isn't necessarily buried deep in a collector's vault. It might be in your own house, waiting to be found. Here's what to do: look for 1990 Jefferson nickels, especially with mint marks, D or S. Check the condition, shine, sharpness, no signs of circulation. Use a magnifier. Look for doubling, off-centers, or odd textures. If it looks special, get it graded. Seriously, because as today's story proves, sometimes the smallest things carry the greatest value. Today, we're digging into a coin you've probably seen hundreds of times, but never really looked at. A coin that's been passed between millions of hands. Dropped in parking meters, spent on coffee, and thrown into coin jars across the country. A coin so familiar, yet one with secrets you won't believe until the very end. We're talking about the 1986 Jefferson nickel, the 5-cent coin that most people think is just another piece of spare change. But as you're about to learn, this small coin has a story bigger than its size. A story of history, design, hidden mistakes, and shocking value. So grab your coin jars, check those dresser drawers, and get ready. Because this might be the video that makes you realize, you've had treasure sitting under your nose all along. Let's travel back in time, to 1986. A year of neon colors, blockbuster movies, the rise of home computers, and a growing buzz about the future of technology. It was the age of Walkmans, cassette tapes, and shoulder pads. Ronald Reagan was in the White House. Gas was under $1. And while all of that was happening, the U.S. Mint was quietly producing millions of Jefferson nickels, coins that would come to symbolize more than just 5 cents of value. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938, replacing the iconic Buffalo nickel. The design came from a nationwide contest and was won by artist Felix Schlag. It's a design that has stood the test of time, featuring Thomas Jefferson's strong profile on the obverse and his beloved estate, Monticello, on the reverse. Now, fast forward to 1986. The Mint struck Jefferson nickels that year at 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. You can tell which mint your nickel came from by looking just to the right of Jefferson's portrait. A D stands for Denver. An S means San Francisco. And a coin with no letter? That's Philadelphia. So why are these mint marks so important? Because each mint has its own quirks, its own production levels, quality control standards, and, yes, its own share of mysterious and valuable mistakes. Let's break it down. The 1986 Jefferson nickel may look like an everyday coin, but if you look closely, really closely, you'll begin to see why this humble piece of metal has captured the attention of serious collectors around the world. First off, let's talk about condition. Most nickels you'll come across are worn, scratched, and dull. After years of bouncing around in pockets, rolling around in registers, and sliding across countertops, they lose their original brilliance, but every now and then, one survives. A coin kept untouched, uncirculated, unblemished. Its details are sharp. The shine is vibrant. The lines of Monticello are crisp. The word Liberty is bold and flawless. These are called mint state coins. And collectors? They go crazy for them. Coins are graded on a scale of 1 to 70. Anything above 60 is considered uncirculated. But coins that grade 66, 67, or, on the rarest of occasions, 68 or higher, those are numismatic royalty. Now imagine this, a 1986 nickel with a mint mark, in a near-perfect condition, untouched by time. But let's take it one step further. Imagine that coin also has something else. An error. Yes, minting errors are the hidden jackpots of coin collecting. Sometimes, the coin is struck twice, creating a double die, where letters or numbers appear shadowed or echoed. Sometimes, it's off-center, meaning the design is shifted from where it's supposed to be. Other times, a coin may be struck on the wrong kind of metal, giving it a strange color or an unusual weight. These are not defects. These are rare and valuable anomalies. And in the case of the 1986 Jefferson nickel, there are several types of known errors that can take a 5-cent coin and turn it into a 5-figure treasure. One example? A 1986 D nickel discovered with a full steps Monticello reverse, meaning every step on Jefferson's estate is perfectly struck and visible, something that's very hard to find due to weak striking. Add to that a double die or a perfect uncirculated finish, and you've got something very special on your hands. But wait, there's more. One collector, while organizing his father's old coin collection, came across a small flip containing a shiny 1986 Jefferson nickel with a mint mark. It looked different, clean, gleaming, untouched. Out of curiosity, he sent it in for grading. The result? An astonishing mint state 68 with full steps and a slight doubling on the word Monticello. This wasn't just any coin. It was something extraordinary. Something one in millions. And when that coin hit the auction block, bidding started small, but it didn't stay that way. The coin community knew what they were looking at. And the offers started pouring in from collectors, dealers, and investors from around the world. The auction room was electric. As the final seconds ticked down, a silence fell, then, bang, the gavel came down. The price? $89,700. That's right. One 1986 Jefferson nickel. Worth nearly $90,000, and here's the kicker, it's not the only one. There are still more out there. Unnoticed. Undiscovered. Forgotten in dusty coin folders, hiding in shoeboxes, or even sitting in your change tray right now. So what does this mean for you? It means your change isn't just change. It's history. It's potential. It's an opportunity. Start looking. Pay attention. Examine your nickels. Especially those from 1986. Look for the mint mark. Check the condition. Use a magnifying glass to spot doubling, off-center strikes, or any unusual characteristics. And if you find something that stands out, get it graded, because this coin proves something truly amazing. Even the most ordinary things can be extraordinary if you take the time to look. Today, we're turning our attention to a coin that has probably passed through millions of hands unnoticed, but holds a story, a secret, and possibly a life-changing value if the stars align just right. This isn't a gold coin. It's not silver. And it's not locked away in some museum. In fact, you've probably had this coin in your pocket, wallet, or couch cushions at some point without ever realizing the potential that it carried. I'm talking about the United States Jefferson nickel, 5 cents, from the year 1985. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's just a nickel, right? just 5 cents. But if you stay with me through this video, you're going to see why this specific coin, with the right mint mark, condition, and perhaps a rare twist of fate, has become a collector's dream. And at the end of this video, I'll reveal just how much one of these nickels sold for. Let's just say, it's the kind of number that could turn spare change into a serious payday. So, buckle up, grab your magnifying glass, and let's step into the fascinating world of coins, starting with a journey back to 1985. The year was electric. The world was shifting fast. Back to the Future was lighting up movie theaters, the Cold War was still casting a long shadow, and compact discs, CDs, were starting to replace vinyl. Technology was advancing, fashion was bold, and the economy was rolling forward. And in the middle of it all, the U.S. Mint was hard at work doing what it had done for decades, striking millions of Jefferson nickels to keep America moving. These were everyday coins meant for everyday life. Gas stations, grocery stores, diners. The 1985 Jefferson nickel was part of the daily fabric of American spending. But hidden among the common coins were a few, just a few, that would one day rise to legendary status among collectors. Let's talk about the design first. The Jefferson nickel has a strong, simple identity. On the front, the obverse, you'll find the profile of Thomas Jefferson, author of the Declaration of Independence and one of the most influential figures in American history. His face is firm, looking left, almost as if he's watching over the republic he helped create. Turn the coin over, and you're met with an elegant image of Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia estate. The building is dignified, centered, and detailed. And surrounding it are the inscriptions, E pluribus unum, United States of America, and of course, 5 cents. That's the classic design created by Felix Schlag, a design that carried the Jefferson nickel for decades. Now let's dig deeper into the mint marks. In 1985, the U.S. Mint struck these nickels at two main locations, Denver and Philadelphia. Coins from Denver carry a tiny D under the date, while Philadelphia nickels in 1985 carry no mint mark at all, making that small detail a critical clue for collectors. The San Francisco Mint, which often produces proof coins, also struck some ultra-high-quality nickels that year, coins that were never meant for circulation, but were instead sold in proof sets to collectors. But here's where things get truly interesting. Just having a 1985 Jefferson nickel isn't enough to make it valuable. The real magic happens when three things align: condition, rarity, and sometimes, a little unexpected error. Let's start with condition. Coins, like anything else, wear down over time. They get scratched, faded, rubbed, dented. But every once in a while, a coin escapes that fate. Maybe someone saved it as a keepsake. Maybe it was sealed away in a roll or set, never touched by human hands. Whatever the case, a few 1985 nickels exist today in what's known as mint state, meaning they are essentially flawless. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale, with 70 being absolute perfection. If your 1985 Jefferson nickel scores a 65 or higher, you're in elite territory. But even more important is a feature that collectors obsess over: full steps. Full steps refers to the stairs at the base of Monticello on the reverse of the coin. On most nickels, those steps are worn down or poorly struck. But if you have a coin where every single step is sharp and defined, that's a sign of both excellent striking and preservation, a coin that's extremely rare. Now, add to that the next layer of value: errors. The 1985 Jefferson nickel is known to have a few error varieties. Some coins have double die obverse, where the lettering or numbers appear faintly duplicated due to misalignment during the minting process. Others were struck slightly off-center, or show die clashes, where part of the coin design appears ghosted in places it shouldn't be. There are even rare instances of wrong planchet errors, where a nickel was accidentally struck on a metal blank intended for another denomination. These are the unicorns of coin collecting, so rare, so strange, and so valuable. Let me tell you a true story. A coin collector in the Midwest was sorting through an inherited collection from his grandfather. Among the coins were rolls of Jefferson nickels, neatly labeled and tucked away for decades. As he began to examine them, one coin stood out. A 1985 nickel from the Denver Mint. It looked brand new. Under magnification, it was perfect. Not only that, every single step of Monticello was sharp and visible. The coin was flawless. But it didn't stop there. The 5 cents text had a slight, strange doubling. Curious, the collector sent it off to be professionally graded. When it came back, the label read, 1985 D. Jefferson Nickel, MS68 FS, full steps, double die reverse. The coin community took notice. Whispers turned to buzz. The coin went to auction. Bids started rolling in from every corner of the globe, collectors, dealers, institutions. The numbers climbed. And climbed, and when the final bid was cast, the auctioneer's hammer dropped. The crowd was silent. The price tag, $99,400. That's right. A single 1985 Jefferson nickel, sold for nearly $100,000. From 5 cents to a small fortune. So what does this mean for you? It means that coins from your change jar, from your dresser, from your childhood collection, could be worth far more than you imagine. Especially if you take the time to look closely. Here's what to do: pull out any 1985 Jefferson nickels you have, look for the mint mark, especially D for Denver or S for proof coins, check the condition. If it's bright, shiny, and shows no signs of wear, you may have something special. Examine the steps on Monticello. Count them. Are they sharp? Complete? Full steps are key. Look for any signs of doubling, off-centering, or odd texture, and if you think you've got a winner, get it graded by a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. Because you never know, you could be holding the next legendary nickel. Today, we're diving deep into a coin that many of you have probably handled dozens of times without giving it a second thought. It's small, everyday, and easy to overlook, but once you hear its story, you might start looking at your spare change a lot differently. We're talking about the 1989 Jefferson nickel, the 5-cent coin that's been a staple in American pockets and cash registers for decades. This seemingly ordinary coin hides fascinating details, a rich history, and yes, a value that can surprise even the most seasoned collectors. So, grab a comfy seat, a magnifying glass if you have one, and get ready for a long, exciting journey through the world of the 1989 Jefferson nickel, why it matters, what to look for, and how it could be worth a staggering amount of money. Let's rewind to 1989. The world was buzzing with change. The Berlin Wall was coming down, pop culture was evolving rapidly, and technology was stepping into a new era. Against this backdrop, the United States Mint produced millions of Jefferson nickels to keep the economy moving smoothly. The nickel itself, though only worth 5 cents, carried forward a design that had been beloved since 1938, Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and his iconic Monticello estate on the reverse. In 1989, these nickels were minted primarily in Philadelphia and Denver. The Philadelphia coins carry no mint mark, while Denver nickels proudly bear a tiny D just to the right of Jefferson's portrait. If you see an S, you're looking at a proof coin from San Francisco, which are generally not meant for circulation but rather for collectors. Now, here's the fascinating part: while millions of these coins were minted and circulated widely, not all were created equal. The value of a coin isn't just in its face value, it's in its rarity, condition, and sometimes, in the small imperfections or errors that make certain specimens truly special. The first key to understanding why the 1989 Jefferson nickel is so interesting lies in its condition. Most coins you find will have been carried in pockets, jostled in purses, and handled countless times. This means they usually show signs of wear, scratches, discoloration, and faded details, but some coins survive unscathed. These are called mint state coins, coins that look almost as fresh as the day they came off the press. Collectors seek these coins out because their crisp details, sharp designs, and lustrous surfaces make them far more valuable than their worn counterparts. One of the most prized features collectors look for on a Jefferson nickel is called full steps. On the reverse side, Monticello's staircase is often poorly struck or worn down over time. If your nickel shows every step on the staircase clearly and sharply, congratulations, you've found a full steps coin. This small detail significantly boosts the coin's desirability and value, but the story doesn't end there. The 1989 Jefferson nickel is also known among collectors for certain minting errors and varieties that can drastically increase a coin's worth. These include double dies, where the design appears double due to a misalignment in the die used to strike the coin, off-center strikes, or even planchet errors where the coin is struck on the wrong metal. One collector who discovered a pristine 1989 D Jefferson nickel with full steps and subtle doubling on the Monticello reverse brought this coin to a professional grading service. The coin was graded as mint state 67, a near-perfect condition, and identified as a rare error variety. When this coin was auctioned, bidders from around the world competed fiercely. The price escalated quickly, reflecting its scarcity and appeal to collectors, and here's the final, jaw-dropping number for you. This extraordinary 1989 Jefferson nickel sold for a whopping $69,100. That's right. What most see as mere pocket change turned out to be a true treasure. So what does this mean for you? It means that your everyday change might be hiding surprises. It means the nickels you find in your drawer or piggy bank deserve a closer look. Here's a quick guide for you to check your nickels. Identify the mint mark. Look for the D, or absence thereof. Examine the coin's condition. Is it shiny? Are the details crisp? Look at Monticello's stairs. Can you see all the steps? Are they sharp? Check for any signs of doubling or unusual features on the lettering or numbers. Today, we're zooming in on a classic piece of American history that you might have in your pocket right now, or tucked away in a dusty jar somewhere at home. I'm talking about the 1979 Jefferson nickel, the humble 5-cent coin that often flies under the radar but can pack a surprising punch when it comes to collector value. At first glance, the 1979 Jefferson nickel might seem like just another everyday coin. After all, nickels are everywhere. But this coin has a story, a unique design, and some rare minting quirks that make it a must-know for coin collectors and enthusiasts alike. Today, we're going to take a deep dive into what makes this nickel so special, how to spot those valuable details, and why some versions of this coin have sold for prices that might blow your mind. Let's start by taking a step back in time to 1979. The United States was in a transitional era, post-Vietnam, still deep in the Cold War, and on the cusp of big technological and cultural changes. The American economy was dealing with inflation, gas shortages, and shifting industries. But no matter what was happening in the country, the U.S. Mint was producing millions of Jefferson nickels every year, and 1979 was no exception. The Jefferson nickel design, introduced in 1938, was still in full force. This means on the front, or obverse, of the coin, you'll find the dignified profile of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States and the author of the Declaration of Independence. His face is calm and commanding, gazing toward the left, almost as if watching over the nation he helped shape. Flip the coin over, and you're greeted by the beautiful image of Monticello, Jefferson's beloved Virginia estate. The building's elegant architecture is captured in fine detail, with a staircase prominently featured at the base, a feature that collectors pay close attention to. Surrounding Monticello are the words, E pluribus unum, United States of America, and the denomination, 5 cents. Now here's where things get interesting. In 1979, the U.S. Mint produced these nickels at two primary locations, Philadelphia and Denver. The Denver coins carry a small D mint mark located just to the right of Jefferson's portrait. Philadelphia coins from that year carry no mint mark, which was the standard for Philly mint coins for many decades. Some special proof coins were also produced at the San Francisco Mint, but these were mainly intended for collectors and never entered general circulation. So what makes the 1979 Jefferson nickel worth paying attention to? First up, condition. Like any coin, the condition can dramatically affect its value. Most nickels we find today show signs of wear, scratches, dulling, and rounded details from years of use. But when you come across one in what's called mint state, meaning it has no wear and retains its original luster and detail, that coin immediately becomes a prize. One of the most important features collectors look for on a Jefferson nickel is something called full steps. This refers to the set of stairs at the base of Monticello on the reverse side. Usually, those steps are worn down or poorly struck in most circulation coins. But a nickel with clear, sharp, and complete steps is much rarer, and much more valuable. Then there's the intriguing world of mint errors and varieties that can make certain 1979 nickels stand out. Errors like double die strikes, where the coin's design elements appear doubled due to misaligned dies, off-center strikes, or other striking anomalies can drastically boost a coin's value. There are even examples of rare planchet errors, where the coin was struck on a wrong metal blank, creating a unique and sought-after variety. A famous story within the coin collecting community is about a collector who inherited a batch of coins from his grandfather. Among the stash, he found a 1979 Denver Mint Jefferson nickel in almost perfect condition. When he examined the Monticello steps, every single step was clearly visible and well-defined. He also noticed subtle doubling on the lettering on the reverse side, indicating a double die reverse error. After submitting the coin to a professional grading service, it was certified as Mint State 66 with full steps and double die reverse features. The coin quickly gained notoriety among collectors and was eventually sold at auction. The final selling price? An astonishing $89,900, yes, from a mere 5-cent coin to nearly $90,000 in value. The 1979 Jefferson nickel shows that sometimes, the smallest pieces of history hold the greatest treasures. What does this mean for you? It means that if you happen to have 1979 Jefferson nickels, especially from the Denver Mint, it's worth taking a closer look. You'll want to check the mint mark to identify where it was made, inspect the coin's condition for luster and wear, look closely at Monticello's staircase for full steps, examine the coin for any doubling or unusual markings. If you find a coin that ticks these boxes, it might be worth getting professionally graded and authenticated. Thanks so much for sticking with me on this deep dive into the 1979 Jefferson nickel. If you enjoyed this journey into the world of coins and want to hear more about other hidden treasures waiting in your pocket or collection, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. Remember, sometimes the most ordinary coins hold the most extraordinary stories, and the biggest surprises. Keep your eyes open, your collections ready, and happy hunting.